often very amazing stories.
Now, let's say you were looking at the historic sex offences.
Yes.
Do you see any link between what we've learned about Max Clifford and that and the description we're getting of his professional modus operandi?
Well, what is striking today are his shots before court. Absolutely no sense of contrition at all, no apology. He stands by...
He's not admitting it, is he?
No, he stands by what he says, which is calling these people fantasists and opportunists when he has now been found guilty. And it's as if he is... saying up yours to the legal system. I mean, it's incredible.
And Adam, may I say, you know, in stimulating what Liz has said, the common thread is humiliation. A number of those victims, you know, the girl who we performed what we kindly call on these shows a sex act on Clifford in his car, that was enough. She was 15. He then, however, goes and tells her that it was actually photographed and it was about to appear in a newspaper. It's only when, after a lot of misery for the girl, she said she was going to commit suicide, he suddenly realised, well, if she did commit suicide, he might get drawn in, so he pulled back. The girl he asked to expose her breasts on the basis he wanted to see whether she was suitable for a page 3 model. Instead of just looking at her breasts, getting whatever perverted pleasure there was to get from that, and moving on, he said, oh, you couldn't go on page 3 with those things, couldn't get you on page 3 with those things. Humiliating girl who said she had never shown her, no one but her parents had ever seen her breasts. I mean, he loved to humiliate people.
And he had used his fame and power to get away with it all his professional life, and he thought he was going to get away with it again, and I think he thought he was going to get away with it.
This is Jimmy Savile.
I must say that half of what you were saying I don't agree with, which is, in the main here, he used the casting couch method, really, to abuse these girls. But I certainly believe the day he was found guilty, today was a perfect example of how Max believed he could survive anything.
But were we at fault? I mean, I've interviewed Max Clifford many times. He's appeared on this programme talking about celebrity issues in the news. I've also done interviews with him in which he's admitted openly what you've been saying, that he makes up stories and that he lies. And therefore, I have to say, I wonder myself, should we have tolerated him? Should we have put him up as an interviewee
there's a certain element about Clifford, which was that he offered a commodity. And what he was for you guys was an instant, knowledgeable talking head with a great turn of phrase, who would come in and he would talk about any situation and so on. The reason he did that was because young, impressionable girls or people with agreements watching would come to him. But, sorry, just to finish, he knew exactly what he was doing, and he was no different.
So you wouldn't blame us for talking to him?
No, I don't blame you, and I don't blame the press either. The issue is making sure he was telling the truth. And the prince, just like you, began to understand that he had gone seriously, if you like, off reservation.
They knew all the way through that he invented it.
So would you blame us?
Well, I think it got ludicrous. But, why did Jimmy Savile survive as long as he did, and indeed never was brought to book? Because the BBC tolerated the way he behaved. Why did Max Clifford survive as long as he did? Because the tabloid press knew that he was making all this stuff up, but decided never to expose him.
Didn't know in his case about any of his
there were rumours swirling around, lots of rumours. But let me just say the next point is, at some point, Max Clifford, who was always obviously what he was, a guy of the street, with morals you wouldn't want to take home to your mum, right? He suddenly became this person that whenever there was a PR issue, far removed from kiss and tell, about some matter of global significance, he would be pulled in as if here was a guy, high-minded guy of great integrity and aware, and asked questions without ever being asked any difficult questions. That was wrong and bad.
A lot of these cases, they are by definition about celebrities, about TV personalities, and some of them have been proven, others have not been proven. How do you think that the media going forward needs to treat celebrities about whom there might be, a bit of gossip around?
Well, there needs to be, and of course the Dame Janet Smith inquiry will be hugely important, but what we do need to do is we do need to have some sort of reform of the law, because we know from Savile that lots was known about him, not just rumour, a lot was known about him, and we have to move whereby we have a system where people in regulated authorities such as the television, the media, hospitals, schools, when they know about something like this, they must pass it on, no matter how famous someone is.
Yes, but there is...
It does expose them a bit to untrue allegations, doesn't it, possibly?
But there is another
There
element.
could be career stopping.
But that's for the police to investigate. But, you know,
This is the flaw of your argument, Liz, because Savile was investigated and they took the decision not to prosecute him. If you look at the